Today we're going to talk about the quick coherence breathing technique. This is a technique that HeartMath, a heart rate variability company, teaches and shows a lot of research of how it can increase connectivity between your heart and your brain. It can impact our heart rate variability, which is something that we're going to have to go into in a different video. But just know that this is a piece where this breathing and this visualization exercise can really improve your cognitive functioning, your emotional state, your physiological state. So by doing this practice in the moment, hopefully you notice, oh man, I'm feeling a little bit better. That's nice. And over time, hopefully this is going to increase your ability to stay present, your ability to increase your resilience, and your ability to get into a flow state. So let's dive into the two parts of the quick coherence breath technique. Part one is that we're going to breathe into our chest and our heart space. So kind of find where your heart is and just take a couple nice easy breaths just for whatever pace you're at, kind of filling up that chest. I like to put a hand on my chest so I get some extra feedback of like, oh, I am raising and lowering my chest. I'm breathing into this space. So as we build that connection, we're breathing in and out. We're going to extend that breath to about 5 seconds. Some of you might be breathing in a little bit longer than that, but we're looking at inhaling for 5 seconds and exhaling for 5 seconds. As you need, you can go shorter or longer. Just check in with what your breath needs are in that moment. And we're bringing that breath as much as we can into what we call that heart space. So in and out for 5. And just as you get into that, I'm going to add another layer. So keep doing that breath. Notice where you're at with it. And this next part is we're going to visualize, what I like to think of as gratitude, or what we can talk about as like loving kindness. But we're just trying to bring in as much energy of, I feel grateful. I really love that. We can do that about a memory of a past event. We can do that about something we're looking forward to. We can do that for people that we have care or tenderness towards. We can also do that towards animals. Some people like to do it with food or music. It's whatever is really an anchor of like joy, happiness for you. We're going to be bringing that. So to tie this all together, we're continuing to do that in for 5, out for 5. And we're cultivating that sense of gratitude and love in our heart, in our minds, in our thoughts. And if that feels kind of abstract to you, that's okay. Just, think about a loved one in this and just keep doing that. So for duration, let's look at doing this between 3 and 10 minutes. I think for most of us, that 3 to 5 minute window is something that's attainable. Personally, I like to do it in bed before I get out of bed in the morning. I find that before I even put my feet on the earth and move into my next event, whatever that may be, from gym, shower, or just straight to work or cooking breakfast, is that it allows me to get grounded and self-connected in a way that maybe when I open my phone and I see there's an emergency with a family member or a client, that I'm not as swept up into it. I'm there to be present, but I'm also self-connected and can set a great tone for my day. Let me know what you think. Give it a whirl for that 3 to 5 minute window. Please feel free to go longer than that. Really, the longer and more frequent you do, the better the results will be. And I would say set a minimum of a 7-day goal to do this. A little bit just to kind of dive into these benefits. Right? We talked about these like physiological and cognitive benefits of, as you do this breath, we're connecting coherence from our heart into our head. There's actually a ton of information that comes from our heart space into our brain. Actually, more signal is sent upwards from our heart towards our brain. So as we get that coherence between those areas, that's what's bringing less taxing into our central nervous system. As we have more stability, right? So if we imagine our central nervous system function in a coherent state, has a nice oscillation to it up and down, and that mimics the breath. Like we can control that inhaling, kind of more arousing, exhaling is moving into that more like hypo-aroused state, and all within our window of tolerance. And these aren't terms we can link to a video below for you. we're also increasing our heart rate variability score, right? And we're improving it, really, is what I should say, because sometimes increasing it's not what we need, just depending on your physiology. When we're there, we're less likely to get stressed out. We're less likely to get knocked off our feet. We're basically creating resilience. So the next time that fight happens or that challenge happens, or you have to present or be social or whatever that challenge is for you comes up, that breath pattern is bringing stability into your nervous system so that you can be more present. And when that happens, we're able to have our whole brain online, right? We have more oxygen in our body. We have less muscle stress. We have more of our higher cognitive functionings online so that we can actually connect and be present with that other person. Whereas when we get into that hyper aroused state where we're frustrated or angry, or the hypo aroused where we're disassociated, shut down, kind of in that faint or freeze, we're much more into that brainstem where we're limbic system, where we're reactive. And really, that's not the highest self. It's a part of all of us, but it's what we're training so that we're not into that state as quickly, or we can identify that we are in that state and shift ourselves so that we can move forward for more of a integrated response. All right, well, I hope this was helpful. Go ahead and click the subscribe button down there and let me know in the comments below what you'd like to hear more about, and also what your experiences of playing with this the quick coherence technique is for you. Thank you.